This is Around the Bases, the Prairie Baseball Academy podcast, where development meets opportunity, where players share their journey, and where the future of the game is built. From training to competition, from the classroom to the diamond, this is Around the Bases.
Fuck me. Yeah, go again. Here we go. Welcome back to Around the Bases podcast on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel and up on Rogers TV right across Alberta. We are joined by PBA head coach Todd Hubka to talk about his 3-1 weekend to open up their CCBC season. How did it go out in Vancouver first time out there?
Yeah, it went good. I didn't think we played our best, but we played well enough to win 3 games. So happy with that. And kind of a nightmare getting out there with the Rogers Pass being closed, and had to detour through Edmonton and back down to Kamloops. So instead of a 9-hour trip to Kamloops, it turned into 14 and a half. But other than that, it was a good trip.
Yeah, you gave me the $1 million question there on Thursday afternoon. I thought outside of Golden was the correct answer. I didn't think Edmonton was going to be even in the realm of possibility. Going 3-1 to open up the season is always a good thing, no matter who you're playing. And if you go 3-1 throughout the year, you'd be probably pretty happy with the results on every one of your series.
Yeah, that means you're winning every series, right? So that's our goal every weekend, is hopefully be in the positive there. And if we can continue to get better, and I think we could have a really good chance of doing that. I thought our pitching staff pitched really well this weekend, good enough to win 4 games. And one of the strengths of our team, I think, is going to be the hitting. And for whatever reason, we took a step back, and hopefully we figure that out this week and get ready for VIU.
Yeah, you were talking about that you're hitting there, and I was going through the stat lines, and you have 3 or 4 guys. There were 3 guys who were hitting a little bit, and then it does drop off quite dramatically. Was it just the opening weekend nerves in the league, or just see ball, hit ball wasn't happening? What do you think it was?
Yeah, I think a little of both. I think the guys are pressing. They're we're working a lot of mechanical things in practice and mental things. And, those things are, you need to deal with them in practice, not during games. And I think we're taking our thoughts to the plate instead of just reacting. And, I think when we figure out just to play the game, slow it down, play with a smile, I think we'll be good.
You had the 1-0 game. I thought I kept hitting refresh on point streak. A 1-0 game doesn't happen very often in that league. What was the big takeaway from that one?
You know what? First off, I don't know. I thought about this. I don't think PBA has ever won a game 1-0. Yes, we've shut out teams before, but not 1-0. I'm pretty sure that has never happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, no, it was a well-pitched game. With Hatch and Willie, Willie starting and Hatch coming in behind him. They dominated. They competed. They threw strike one. They were ahead in every count. And, that's what we've asked of our pitching staff, and played good defense behind them too. So had a couple big plays defensively to get us out of some trouble.
You said in the past that the pitch, you don't, because you're an old school baseball guy, kind of like myself, you don't need the pitch clock. You don't need this. You don't need that to speed the game up. And you're a big advocate as well with the just throw strike one. That speeds the game up so much. It gets everybody. It gets pitchers wanting to pitch. It gets hitters wanting to hit. It gets umpires wanting to call strikes. And it just gets things going. Strike one's so important.
You know what? And, our trips down south that we took this year, we were not throwing strike one. And, when you have a staff that, maybe not dominate through velocity, you got to be able to pitch backwards in certain situations. And it just showed that, if you don't throw strike one, other teams will do damage on you. And that's the one thing I was proud of this last weekend was, I'm not sure on the percentages, but, I'm guessing strike one was over 60%. So
the University Baseball Club, they're called UBC. That's their junior varsity team. It's their first year in the league, and it's their first action. What was your takeaway from them? They're a scrappy bunch. What was your initial take on a team that you knew nothing about?
Yeah, a couple things. I think that, going into it, I didn't know much about them. And, I thought they were going to be a young team. And, they got some older guys on the team that have been, that are juniors and seniors. And, and mature players. And, they had a mature pitching staff, too. I thought their pitching staff, did a pretty good job. The coaches managed their staff really well and put people in situations for them to have success. And, my takeaway is that, they're, for being a first team in the league, that, teams better not take them lightly, because they take care of the baseball very well. And, they pitch to contact, and they're a well-rounded, not a bad team.
You didn't have the greatest exhibition season. You're playing some teams that might have been a little bit above your guys' scale, but you get past that and you get into CCBC league play. You win a couple, then you lose that one, and then you bounce back and win again. Was the bouncing back to win a game at the end there pretty big for the personality of your team?
I think so. Like, if we go out there and we're 2-2, it's not a good road trip. It wasn't a great road trip, 3-1, but it was good. And, from us having to go through Edmonton to start with, and 14 hours on a bus to start with, it's hard. The bus is hard, and especially for us, we probably travel more than anyone in the league. Calgary and Edmonton, they have airports that they can fly out of, and, it's just expensive that we can't do that. And, so we end up bussing all the time. And, I'm proud of the guys for the way they handled the bus, and, tired bodies and sore muscles. And, we get to do it all over again this weekend. We talked about nutrition and stuff like that when we got off the bus on 4 a.m. on Sunday night, Monday morning type thing. And, told them to make sure they're getting their sleep and everything too, because it's, this first 3 weeks is a grind. We got Vancouver Island, get back. It'll probably be more like 9, 10 a.m. Monday morning, and then, up in Edmonton the next weekend too. So it's a grind, and, we're figuring things out.
You almost had me convinced to go on that trip again this year until you just said 9 a.m. on Monday morning. I think I almost changed my mind, but I'm not going to go. That's a no-go this time around. Early results are great, 3-1. What's some things that can happen to this team? Can they get a little bit in front of themselves, a little bit in front of the skis, a little bit? 3-1's great, but what do you got to do this weekend coming up when you get to VIU to make sure that you're getting ready for the long haul? Because the way the league is structured this year, every game's going to matter a lot more with only 6 teams getting into the World Series.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot about, the 1% better every day. And, there's been years past or whatever where I think we peak kind of halfway through the year. And, and you kind of try to level out on peaking, but a lot of times you go backwards a little bit. And, what excites me about this team is we haven't played our best baseball yet. I think we can, definitely offensively, I think we can do a lot better than what we've done. And our pitching staff, definitely put a foot forward this last weekend, the way they took care of the baseball and got ahead of everybody. So, that's what I'm looking forward to. We haven't peaked, and we got a lot of room to grow here and keep getting better. And I think we have the team to continue to get better too. That's, those just aren't words. I think that we're going to be fine at the end of the year if we keep developing game by game type.
Do you find you have your opening day lineup? These guys are your guys to go with, and then things change, and guys get in slumps, and some guys just show more in practice throughout the week. Is the lineup pretty much set in stone, or is it like, okay, no, you got to perform, and this is what we're doing on a weekly basis?
No, it's college baseball. You have to perform. If you don't hit, you don't play type thing, and that's unless you're a catcher, shortstop, or center fielder. Those are the three that are very important.
It's highly recommended they hit too, but yeah, it's one of those things.
But those three are they're key for defense. And that's we haven't found our starting lineup yet. We have a bunch of guys that are trying to figure things out, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we do figure it out. We're trying to get everyone into games still and play everyone and see what they have. But a lineup written in stone we're not close to that yet.
Guy that's kind of played himself in no matter what. I think he's hitting 429. He had a great weekend. What can you say about Will Turner's at bats? He had a rough fall. There's no getting around that. But he's hitting 429 after the first weekend. What can you say about Will's weekend?
Yeah, we expect that from him. I think he had an all right weekend. If you ask him, I don't think he'd tell you he had a great weekend. I thought he left a lot of pitches that he should have did damage with. And, from the fall, I think Will's tried to make some big changes in his swing. And I think it's just all finally starting to come together on, he can actually start to feel some of the things that he's been working on. So expecting, the same from him and hopefully even a little bit more from him. But yeah, he's, we'll go, we go. So
there we go. No, Todd, good luck this weekend. Congratulations, 3-1 weekend. Enjoy that bus trip to Nanaimo this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Brent.
You're watching the Around the Bases podcast on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel and on Rogers TV.
Canada has produced some incredible baseball stories, and this spring, those stories come to Lethbridge. Join us for the Legends of Canada Baseball Gala, featuring one of Canada's most exciting Major League stars, Kevin Pillar. A night of stories, celebration, and Canadian baseball history. Part of the Canadian Grand Slam Baseball Showcase. Reserve your seat now.
This is Around the Bases, the Prairie Baseball Academy podcast, where development meets opportunity, where players share their journey, and where the future of the game is built. From training to competition, from the classroom to the diamond, this is Around the Bases.